folks, welcome back to another episode here at Timeout Kitchen. Today we're going to be making the wonderful and super crispy and very easy chicken wings. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, I could just go to a restaurant and order these or order them in, and you know what, you're right, they're pretty easy to get a hold of. However, they're also usually a little bit overpriced. Now today guys, we're gonna be making about 2.5 to 3 pounds of wings for about $14, which is pretty damn good. Now as always here at Timeout Kitchen, I will be running a clock in the background so you can see exactly how long this takes to put together. And speaking of putting things together, if you're liking any of the content here on the channel, go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, or the little dinner bell thingy so you can know when the next video hits the old YouTube universe. Now, with that out of the way, let's start getting through those ingredients. But before that, B-roll. Alright folks, with that saucy B-roll out of the way, let's get to the ingredients. Now, of course, you're going to be able to exchange a lot of these in or out as you please. It's a very forgiving recipe, but basically we're going to have to start with, well, some chicken. So go ahead and grab yourself about 2 or 3 pounds of chicken wings. Now here guys, these are already pre-cut, and as you can see, they're a bit dried out because I let them desiccate in the fridge. So this was a dry brine. I simply put a bit of salt and left it in the fridge uncovered for a few hours. Now this step is optional, but it's going to help with that crispy skin. So move this to the side because we got to cover some of our flavors here, and that is going to be what you see right here on the plate. So to start, we've got some ancho powder. This adds a nice sort of smoky mellowness to our dish. It's going to be kind of a nice little thing for the wings to just sit in and really collect some dark coloring as well as some of that flavor. Next, we're going to remind ourselves to get a plate with a bit more contrast so you can actually see what this is. This is in fact some garlic powder. Again guys, we're using about a tablespoon or so of each, but you can use them in any variety you want. Anyways, moving on, we have here some cayenne pepper, and this is going to bring a nice sharp heat to this dish. Again, optional, you could change this out for chipotle or something else that you like. Up next on our wheel of flavor is, if you can see it, some baking soda. Now this has a pH that is lower, so it's alkaline, and this actually helps kind of blister and just crisp up our skin quite a bit. Again, you can use about 1/2 tablespoon here or about a teaspoon worth. This is going to be a kind of secret little ingredient that is actually not so secret anymore, but you definitely want to grab that. Next, you're going to grab some paprika. This is some smoked paprika. Again, we're going with that smoky note, and I think this goes pretty well. Again, guys, you're going to want about 1 tablespoon of each thing minus the baking soda, which is going to be about 1/2 tablespoon. Now, of course, you're also going to want the basics, which is going to be our wonderful kosher salt, as well as some freshly ground black pepper. Finally, you're going to want to grab yourself your favorite barbecue sauce, or in my case, whatever I had in the fridge, and a small brush to, well, brush onto our delicious wings. Now, guys, this is something that you can do throughout the cooking process or right at the end. It's really up to you, but I'm going to actually put this on halfway through our baking process just to add a little bit more layering of flavor. So with that covered, it's time to prep our chicken wings, so let's go ahead and grab those and begin to pat them dry. This is a very important step, guys, because there is always going to be a little bit of extra moisture. You could also leave these on a wire rack and let them kind of just dry out a little bit more easily in the fridge. I didn't have that much time, so paper towel is what we'll be doing, and just trying to get as much of that extra liquid off of these chicken wings. Once you're done drying, you should have something that looks a little bit like this, and yes, it is in fact drier than it was when I started, so go ahead and throw some kosher salt on there. Again, to taste, you can use a lot or a little. I want a little bit more here to really dry it out and just kind of keep up with that sweetness from the barbecue sauce. We're then going to add some freshly ground black pepper, and then we're going to add in our baking soda. Now guys, you want to just add this first. This is going to give you a nice sort of crispness that's going to cover it. You could also add flour if you don't want to use this, that's fine. Just give this a quick shake and make sure you coat every single wing. Once thoroughly coated, go ahead and grab the rest of your spices and let's drop all of those in at once. And then we're just going to repeat that mixing process and make sure that all of this flavor is spread evenly throughout all of our chicken wings. So you could get your hands in here, or you could just toss it around and make a big mess like I did. Either way, so long as it's all coated, it's all good. So at this point, you're probably thinking, oh, I'll just grab my baking sheet and we'll go ahead and just throw those wings on there. Now, yes, you could do that and it would be okay. However, at the very least, you should probably at least add a little bit of tin foil, as this would help the wings not stick directly to your cooking sheet. So once you've laid the aluminum foil down, you're probably thinking to yourself, all right, so now we're good, right? We're gonna throw our wings down, we're all good, we're gonna cook them, and we will be off to the races. Again, you could do that, but we're gonna do this right, so don't pour those in just quite yet. We got one thing missing, and that is a wire rack. Now, ideally, you'd like to get a rack that actually fits your baking sheet on the inside so it doesn't slide around, but this is all we had, and we like to make things difficult here, so just grab a wire rack that sort of fits and go ahead and begin to put all of your wings on top. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you do not want these to be too close. You do want that air to circulate around the wings. That's really going to help crisp these up, guys. It is a secret to making crispy wings in the oven. And speaking of the oven, they will go in there for 30 to 35 minutes at 425 degrees. So after about 30 minutes, your kitchen is going to be blessed with some very crispy oven-baked chicken wings, and really at this point, guys, you could just toss this with some barbecue sauce and you'd be done. But if you want it to be a bit more sort of interesting and add a bit more depth of flavor, we're gonna go ahead and sauce these up. So grab that brush, grab that sauce, and begin to slather it on. Now you want a fairly light coating here because we don't want to ruin that crispiness that we've built. So go ahead and just be a little bit gentle here. Don't just dunk everything in there, but cover every piece evenly, give this a flip, and repeat it on the other side. So again, at this point, you could literally just eat these as they are, and I know it's really tempting, but bear with me. Go ahead and put these back into the oven at 450 degrees for about another 5 or so minutes, 10 if you absolutely need to. After those 5 to 10 minutes, this is what you're left with, guys. Look at the color, the dark, rich, beautiful color. That skin is crispy and crunchy on the outside, and you just have so much more flavor. That extra step is well worth it, but we do want to sauce these up, so go ahead and throw a little bit more barbecue sauce in a bowl, spread it around, and then toss those wings into their new saucy bath. Now again, I'm trying not to over sauce these because I do want that skin to remain crispy. If you really like sauce, you could actually put this on the side. You could also dip this in some ranch dressing, whatever you like, but give this a swirl. Make sure you coat everything nice and evenly. And you should have a beautiful bowl of chicken wings, but we got to plate these up, so go ahead and grab your closest plate and begin to serve yourself some of that wonderful meaty goodness. And don't be shy, guys, these are chicken wings. I mean, they do have a decent amount of meat on them, but I'm a hungry boy and I wanted a lot. Oh, and for a little pop of color and some of that oniony sweetness, we're gonna go ahead and add some green onion right on top. And voila, you've got yourself a wonderful crispy set of oven-baked homemade chicken wings, guys. And the best part is that while this is also cheap, it also came in at 43 minutes and 37 seconds to put all of this together from start to finish. Again, you can cook this on higher heat if you're rushed, but that extra layer, that extra time, you could actually make this in about 35 minutes if you didn't do the sauce and cook it like I did, but it was worth the effort. If you don't believe it's worth the effort, guys, look at this thing. It's still crisp, still wonderful. I'm gonna take a bite, and you should definitely make this recipe and try this out for yourselves. You guys will not regret this. I mean, just look at the steam coming off this thing. You can make this for anything, guys. Your next football game, just when you're hanging out, something quick for dinner. Whatever you decide, it will be worth it. So that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you so much for watching until the end. And as always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. We will see you in the next one.